Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Million Dollar Body Podcast. Today I'm joined by Rob Gruler from the R&R Law Group and the founder of the Gruler Method. Rob, it's great to have you on today. How's it going?
Good to be here, Nate. Really excited to speak with you. I'm glad we're able to connect.
Yeah, awesome. So can we just jump right in today? And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you founded the R&R Law Group out of the spare bedroom of your house with your business partner?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And, it's something that I think a lot of people who are kind of entrepreneurs or people who are starting their own business can relate to. Ryan and I, we were friends and colleagues throughout law school. We had worked together at two different law firms locally in Arizona, both in Scottsdale, actually one in Scottsdale, one in Phoenix. We were working there for years, and we just started thinking, these guys are treating their clients badly. They're not delivering good service. They're very kind of egotistical egomaniacs. And anyways, it was just something that we didn't want to be a part of anymore. And so we started toying around with the idea. We started thinking, as long as we can figure out how to get clients and we know that we can deliver a much better service in a way that is different from all of the other criminal defense lawyers. And so right about the same point in time, Ryan and I were working together, and he started getting the idea that he wanted to go off on his own. And he came and he approached me about it, and he said, "Hey, man, I've got this idea that I think we should run with." And little did he know, I had already been building the website. I opened the bank accounts. I opened up an LLC. I was basically building my own shop on the side while I was working for this other firm. And he came and he approached me, and I said, "Hey, great news. I've got it all set up. So, if you want to just run with it together, let's do it." And we did. And so we started it out of a spare bedroom in my house, just a folding table where we just had our laptops on, and we were just kind of crouched next to each other, just typing away, building up a business plan. That turned into an executive suite, which turned into 3 executive suites. And now we're operating out of, we got 3,500 square feet in Scottsdale, and we're building out a new space that we're going to hopefully move into February 1, 2020. That's going to be about just under 10,000 square feet. So we're ramping up. We help people predominantly with crimes. That's all we really do is criminal defense law. So we help a lot of people with DUIs and domestic violence and drug offenses. And the vast majority of our clients are very good people. They're good, hardworking, upstanding citizens. They just got into one bad night, one bad night, one bad argument, one too many things to drink one night. And so we help them put their lives back together a bit, get through it so that they're not losing their jobs, not losing their families or custody of their kids, and help them kind of get back on path. And, the firm is doing very well. We're very fortunate. People recognize that we operate differently than most other firms, and that the message really resonates. I think when you take care of people, people respond and continue to use your service and spread the word.
That's awesome. And I think one thing that's very that a lot of entrepreneurs have in common, and then I think we're going to hear this a lot from you today in your story, is seeing a need, recognizing what that need is, and then taking action to solve that problem that the need is creating. And it sounds like that's how your business even started. You recognized that there was a big gap in the marketplace for people who were actually treating their clients and their customers in a really, really positive way. And you jumped in there. And then it's working out, because to go from working in your spare bedroom to now having 16 employees and having a 10,000 square foot executive suite, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been kind of a wild ride. There's this idea that a lot of attorneys have, and that a lot of, I think, the public has, that attorneys are kind of operating at a higher plane. They're smarter, or they're more accomplished, or something like that. And so attorneys will let that get to their ego, and then that gives them license to treat their clients and their customers like garbage. They can just talk to people. They can talk down to people. They cannot return phone calls. They can really just kind of do a half-assed job on everything that they do, and get away with it because they've got a law degree and they're licensed, and people are sort of limited in terms of who they can hire. And we just started seeing how these other firms were operating like that, and we just thought that's not the right way to do business. I don't think that I'm better than any of my clients. I don't think that what we do here means that we have license to talk to people like garbage, or treat them like like they're just a number or piece of paper. And unfortunately, a lot of other law firms do that. And so, yeah, we definitely saw that need. I mean, not just because the market needed that, because they were hungry for good lawyers who you can develop a relationship with, but also because I just couldn't sleep at night if that's how we were practicing the law. I didn't think, just as a matter of my personal integrity, the reason I got into law was to help people. And if you are treating people poorly, or when we were working for our bosses at the other firms, they had a structure that did not enable us to go be the best lawyers that we could be. And if you're working in an environment like that, you can imagine how quickly that will just sap your energy, because you're not fulfilling your purpose. You're not doing what you're set out to do. And that can just drain you immediately. So it was definitely a good business decision, but it was also a good personal decision, because now I get to really manifest what I want to see. I can actually execute on that.
That is awesome. And it's cool to hear that from not just the business perspective, but also kind of living into your vision for the future. And like exactly like you said, like you wouldn't be able to sleep at night if you weren't treating your clients with the respect that they deserved. So that's fantastic. Kind of going back to the law school and the education piece, because I know that you, as a lawyer, you had to go to a ton more education than a lot of people will go through just to get a bachelor's degree. But what do you think that, like, how did that prepare you or not prepare you? What were the gaps there in starting your own firm and the business side of things? Do you think you were adequately equipped to start something like this, or?
It's a great question. And the answer is a resounding no. Law school doesn't teach you anything about running a business or hanging your own shingle, or really anything at all about running a law firm. I mean, they shove a bunch of statutes in your face. You learn a lot about property law and evidence law and family law. And, a lot of what I learned in law school is no longer even remotely applicable to anything that I'm doing today. I mean, we practice criminal law alone. So every family law class, every business law class, every civil procedure or contracts class, those are all kind of irrelevant now. But the biggest gap is certainly in running a business. They have no education on how to market or how to message or how to balance your, even your bank account, your checkbook, what to do with your tax statement at the end. How do you, hire and fire employees, and how do you build a good culture? All of that stuff is just completely neglected. It's not even touched on, really. They do have some resources where you are able to go. They have it. It's like a solo lawyers member community that's a part of the state bar. But again, it's all very, very, very basic stuff. And so what we've done is really focused a lot of time and a lot of money into coaching, personal development. We're a part of a number of different mastermind groups. We spend a lot of money traveling all over the place to be with the best people in business. Some of them are lawyers, but most of them are not. Most of them are very good marketers, very good culture people, good systems people, kind of like COOs, chief operating officers, people who can tell you how to systematize your business so that you run more efficiently, so that your clients are happier, you're not wasting resources on needless stuff. So that's a big part of what we do. And I'll be honest, every time that we've stopped any of that personal development stuff, the business suffers as a result of that. There's that saying that personal development precedes professional development. And that's the idea that you need to work on yourself. And by doing so, you'll see things as they will then touch and expand into other areas of your life, like your business, like your relationships, and so on and so forth.
That is awesome and so powerful, and definitely something that I agree with, especially considering like the focus of this podcast being how fitness and nutrition can amplify your results in your business, your relationships, and your finances. And I want to come back to that in just a second. But first, I wanted to hear from you, like, as I know you have a very successful YouTube channel, that the R&R Law Group YouTube channel, where you're practicing the Gruler method. So you have a couple thousand subscribers on there. You're producing great content. I've seen your videos. They're awesome. How did you get from, I know you were doing the personal development seminars, but how did you get from like leaving law school, having it like working at a firm, to having a successful YouTube channel and actually helping other lawyers and other people in law develop their own social media presence and YouTube videos and marketing in that way?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a nice compliment. So thank you for saying that. It's one of those things where I was kind of dabbling in marketing. Marketing for a lot of people is kind of an experiment. You have to figure out what suits your message. A lot of people out there try to be inauthentic. They try to emulate somebody else or copy something, or they read a book that says, oh, you should only do X, Y, and Z. And they try to do that. And it's just not genuine. It's not authentic, and people don't respond to it. And what I was trying to do with the video stuff, I knew back in 2015, so this would have been 1 year after we opened our law firm, that I knew that video was going to be important. And people were saying that, and I didn't really know how to do it. So I just made a video, I put it on the internet, and we started actually getting clients from it. And the video was terrible. I mean, if you look it up, it's one of my first videos on our channel. It's terrible. I'm wearing this shirt that looks like it's a sailboat, like it doesn't fit me well. My everything is just off. My tie is crooked. My lapel mic is like, the cord from my lapel mic's like, sticking out. Like it looks like terrible. But it worked. People were watching the videos because nobody else had a video talking about criminal speeding in Arizona. I was the only one who had it. And so clients would watch it and they would call. And I started thinking, okay, that was almost too easy. I just made a video and put it on there. And it was something where I said, okay, I need to start thinking more and more through this. And so in 2018, early 2018, I was starting to experiment more. I mean, I was just experimenting, and I tried the green screens in the background. I tried really scripting my videos. I tried, the flyover text and all sorts of stuff. And it wasn't genuine for me. It wasn't right. It wasn't a good fit. I felt awkward. I didn't come off very well, but I just kept adapting. I kept experimenting. I had a lot of other attorneys kind of, they would be naysayers. They would give me grief about it. They would say, oh, that's weird, or that's super low production value, or, that was stupid. Or I have people will actually comment on the content. Well, that,
you can't trust YouTube comments. That's just a fact.
No. And they were just, they were just being haters at that point. But I was trying to find my feet. In other words, I was trying to get my balance right. And then I found this format that just really worked for me. It's a lot more conversational. I'm not wearing the suit and tie. I just look into the camera, and my only point in making the videos is to help people get good information that's actionable, that will help them calm their nerves or provide them real value. So at the end of it, they'll know that they can take that information and go do something with it, rather than being like those other lawyers that you see that have the 90-second sound bites. Hi, I'm Robert Gruler. I'm the best criminal defense lawyer in Scottsdale. We care about you. We care about your case. That's why you should call us. None of that stuff. It's more about, all right, look, I'm gonna walk you through how to defend against this, or what a proper defense is for that. And so most of my videos are 8 to 10 minutes long. It's just full of information. One of my most popular videos is 30-something minutes long. I mean, it's all on Photo Radar. It tells you exactly how to beat Photo Radar, and people watch the whole 30 minutes, because people are hungry for that content. And it's kind of like what you're doing with your podcast. It's long form content. It's conversational. People get to know both parties. They develop a good relationship with them, and that it worked for us. So then at the end of 2018, I really started, I made a commitment to releasing one video every weekday. So I'd record my videos in batch. I'd come in on a Saturday, record 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos. And then I would schedule them out to drip out over the next, 2 weeks. And then it started working so well that, YouTube and the feedback from our clients, they'd watch the videos and they would say, man, I love what you're doing. I want to hire you now. And so we started seeing the conversion rates go up and up and up. And then we hired a full-time gal. Her name's Faith. She now does all of the editing for the videos and the podcasts, and we ramped up everything. So we're now producing sometimes we were doing about 60 videos a month. So that's about 2 every day. And so we're kind of sometimes more, sometimes less than that. It just depends on kind of what the topics are. I have a segment that I call Watching the Watchers. So it's where I actually comment on police misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct, judges, politicians, anybody in the criminal justice system who is, in my opinion, being problematic. I will call them out and I will memorialize it. So I will actually hold up a mugshot of an officer who got arrested, and I'll hold that up in the camera and I'll talk about that officer for 8, 9 minutes and just kind of make a record. Because what we've seen happen is that these officers, when they get in trouble, I have this whole wall in the back of my office with all these mugshots from all these disciplined police officers who'll make the news, and then it will just kind of die down. It'll trickle away. Everybody will forget about it. These officers will voluntarily resign instead of being fired. And so then they'll wait 6 months and they'll go over to another police department and they'll get hired there. And so I got tired of seeing all of this kind of crossover. So what I wanted to do is memorialize it and make sure that if these guys get in trouble because they're breaking the law, that it's permanent record, it's on our YouTube channel, and people have really responded to that message. They want the watchers to be held to the same standard that we would be held to. And so those videos have had a lot of popularity, and it's it's been a ton of fun to help people. I get comments from people, man, I watched your videos for 4 hours last night and I feel so much better. I feel like I have an understanding of what's going to happen in my case. Thank you so much. And so that's extremely rewarding, and it's also good for business. So it's been a good journey.
Wow, man, that's a great answer. A lot of info in that piece. A couple things I wanted to go back to is number one, and this is something that I am really I highly believe this is an important skill for any entrepreneur or anyone who's got a vision or a dream, or even wants to make a change to their fitness, their lifestyle. Is you talked about going out there and just putting out one video, and you did it wrong and it sucked and you looked terrible and all this stuff, but you took action, right? You took imperfect action and you moved forward. You went on to the next video and people said, this sucks, low production value, whatever else. And you were like, I don't care, I go to the next one. And now if I look at your YouTube channel, bro, it's awesome. Everything is so pro. You got videos with 40,000 plus views. That one with the photo radar defense got 13,000 views. I'll put a link to that here in the show notes as well. But you just instead of waiting for everything to be right for you, what I love is that you just kept moving forward. You take an imperfect action on a daily basis, sometimes twice a day with 60 videos per month. That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And you just kept going. So that's fantastic. And obviously you're putting out great content, which is putting you in front of more and more people. You're not just being like, here's why you should, here, I care about you, definitely call me, but you're actually giving them a reason to, because you're demonstrating that you know your stuff. Yep. You're giving out a ton of value for free without getting anything in return. And so when someone does call you, they're like, man, I've seen you. I've seen 40 minutes of your videos. I already know, and trust you. Yep. What's the next step? You don't have to sell anyone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, people come in basically just ready to hire. I mean, there's enough information out there. And, they just need to come in, make sure that we are who we say we are, make sure the pricing's in alignment, and they move forward. And you know what? It also repels people who don't like how we do things. So if you want somebody who's going to be in the suit and tie, kind of deal, or you want somebody who's got 20 years on me, then that's not us, right? And so we don't even have to talk to those people because they self-select themselves out of it, which is just as valuable as attracting the right clients.
Yeah, eliminated the tire kickers, the people who are going to take your time up or not be a good fit for your organization. That's exactly right. That's awesome. And I think also a lot of people, especially when you're starting out in a business, you want all the clients, anyone. Who's your product for? It's for everybody. And then you start realizing as you get more and more down that business building pathway, that if your product or your service is for everyone, then it's really for no one.
Exactly.
And then if you can start saying no to more people, that leaves you free to say yes to the important things.
Yeah, exactly right. And I wanted the one thing I wanted to mention also was the idea that you had about the imperfect action, which is it's absolutely great. There was one thing that I heard at one of those self-development seminars that really kind of boiled that down into 3 words. So we're used to hearing when you're shooting a gun, you're used to hearing ready, aim, fire, right? And that's how most people will do things. So, and you just get ready and you aim and you fire. That's the wrong way to do it, especially when you're doing something that kind of requires some fear or some, you stepping outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Yeah, exactly. You want to flip that a bit. So you want to say ready, fire, aim. So, just get ready and fire. And then you can aim afterwards and make adjustments and just kind of tweak it and get back and just keep firing. And that's exactly what I did with the videos. And you know what? I mean, in large part, that's what we did with the law firm. We said, we've got this idea. We don't know how it's going to be perfect. We don't know what to do, but we're just going to go for it. And we did. We quit. We both quit. We just formed an LLC and we figured the rest of it out.
It's because if you want something bad enough, you can just figure out the ways to do it, right? There's win or you learn. There's no losing. You fail forward. You keep doing that imperfect action. You ready, fire, aim. I love that so much. It's awesome because at the end of the day, I feel like building a business is like building your body or creating like a fitness regime. It's not like anyone shows up at the gym and is like, I bench pressed one time and now I got it.
Right.
Right? What does it take? It takes reps and it takes sets and it takes consistency and it takes days and days and days and days. And that's the unsexy truth about building a body that you love to live in, is that the best exercise is consistency. Showing up again and again and again, even when you suck, even when it
Yeah.
wasn't great, and then just doing it again. Because if I pulled you out and you never played tennis before, try to teach you how to do a forehand swing, you're going to be bad at it. So what do you say? I don't play tennis. I'm not good at tennis. I'm not good at business. I'm not good at videos. No, you just do it again and do it again
Yeah.
and do it again until you get it, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, you're not supposed to be good at it. You don't have any practice at it. You haven't done it enough. If I go out and try to hit a hole in one on the golf course, even though I do not golf, and I get down on myself because I didn't, sink it on the first try, that's ridiculous insanity. Like, of course I'm not going to be good at that. I never practice, I never do it. And that's the same with anything. Yeah, my videos are bad. They were very bad. And there's still a ton of room for improvement. I'm still looking at stuff. I'm still looking at new gear and learning how new editing things. I mean, it's always a work in progress. And same with my fitness. It's just one of those things. I'm always looking, how can I make adjustments? How can I supplement or change my diet or figure out a better way to just keep leveling up? Because if you're not progressing, then you're stagnant, and if you're stagnant, you're really kind of dying, in my opinion.
The work's never done, right?
Right.
If you're not, there's always room for improvement in various art like places of your life. Exactly like you said. So I want to go back, shift gears a little bit to go back to where you said personal development precedes professional development. And I thought that was great. I've never heard that before. But I think that one of my mentors has told me like the best investment you can make. Because I was asking him like, what do you think about like a good financial investment would be? Where should I put some money? And he's like, man, you need to invest in yourself and you need to invest in your business. And those two things, because you're in control of them, are going to give you a lot higher return on your investment than going and putting it into a stock market or a mutual fund or something like that. And in the same way, I think that a lot of times if we invest in our health, in our mental state, in our clarity, in a coach, different things like that, they're going to pay off a lot bigger dividends, not just like the 30-day, the Amazon Prime mentality, but for the rest of our life, right? And obviously you're a really fit guy. I've seen you in the 100-day challenge where I saw you posting videos, lifting weights, working out super, super hard. And just for anyone listening, this guy over the course of 100 days lifted something like 770,000 pounds of volume in his lower body alone. So he does the work not just on the videos, but in the gym as well. Can you tell us a little bit about how that mentality and the physicality that you do possess elevates your financial situation or your business and like the way that's grown?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great question. And it's something that I really, I do two things. Number one is every single day I block out time to take it's me time. I got to take care of myself time, and that's I call them big rocks. You may have read that in the Traction book. Gino Wickman wrote a book called Traction. You also learn about big rocks in a number of different personal development seminars and different things. But it's this idea that if you take a bucket or a jar and you want to cram as much stuff in there as you can, and you've got a list of, you've got big rocks, you've got small rocks, you've got pebbles, you've got gravel, and you've got water. How do you squeeze all of those different things into that container? Well, you start with the big rocks. You put the big rocks in first, then you put the small rocks in and you fill the crevices around there. Then you put the pebbles in and it's going to fill even more, and the sand and the water, until you fill the whole thing. And that's how you get a lot into that one container. And the analogy is that that container is your time. That's your life. You can only put so much in your time because you only have 24 hours in a day. And so how do you do that? You identify what your big rocks are that are going to go into the container first, and you stick to those. That's where your time goes. And so my team knows, my family knows, anybody I'm in a relationship knows that one of my big rocks on my day is going to the gym. And so every single morning, 7 days a week, you can argue with me about rest days or anything like that. I always make sure that I go to the gym, even if I'm going to be in and out, even if it's just a quick light thing, because that's my time. That's me time. It's kind of meditative for me. It's kind of rhythmic. I listen to a lot of audiobooks while I'm doing cardio. So I listen to personal development books. I'll read when I'm on the bike. I'll actually pull up the Kindle app on my phone and read a personal development book. And then I also listen to fiction. I'm starting to listen to fiction more because there's this idea that, you know, you're as a human, your imagination will kind of be tapered down a little bit. You won't think in terms, you know, as creatively, and so you want to throw in some fiction there to spark those synapses to keep you creative and keep you imagining in ways that you otherwise wouldn't do. And so that's just something that I do. That's an everyday routine. It's 7 days a week. I'm doing something physical. The only times I will not do something like that is if I'm traveling or if I'm at one of those personal development seminars that runs from, you know, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I usually am exhausted and I can't schedule time for those things. But that's the other thing that I do is I think, you know, there's only so much value that you can get out of listening to audiobooks or reading. You really need to plug yourself into a group of like-minded individuals who are also doing that. And there are a ton of different organizations. I'm a part of several of them that are very, very valuable. And they get together once a quarter or sometimes once a month, depending on the group. And you're going to be in the room with other people who have a similar vision to what it is you're doing. People with high energy, high passion for what they're doing in their lives. And just by simply putting yourself in the room, it's just like going to the gym. Even if you don't feel like being there, if you've got other things that you want to do, you go into that room and you get to connect with other entrepreneurs or other, you know, salespeople or other COOs or other people, you know, doing charity work, veterans groups, or speaking, or whatever it is that you're passionate about. You want to get plugged in because that's how you keep your energy charged. And every time I leave one of those places, I always come back with new ideas. I'm always re-energized. My batteries are at full capacity, and then I can get back out into the world, and that keeps me at my high level. I think there was a quote from Zig Ziglar, one of the sales guys, one of the motivational guys, who said, you know, motivation is like showering, which is why I need it every day, right?
Doesn't last.
I need it to last. I shower every day, just like I need to find motivation every day. So you want to find something that inspires you and that keeps you grounded and clears out the cobwebs in your head and just keep the ball moving forward.
Yeah, that's good, man. So it sounds like you definitely put a high premium on those things that are not necessarily like specific business development or like YouTube strategies, but they're actually keeping you and your brain and your ideas essentially functioning at a high level. It sounds like you're putting a high priority on your fitness. You said going 7 days a week. That's really impressive. And I mean, like you said, you can argue about rest days all you want, but at the end of the day, you're getting it in 7 days a week. And one of the things I like about that is that if you like, it's really easy once you take the day off or 2 days off the weekend, or if it's like a 6-day trip, it becomes harder to get back into it, right? If you don't take any days off, you don't ever have to break the chain. So I do like that idea.
Yeah, completely right. Yeah, and that's been the problem. If I take a day off, it's usually not just one day. It turns into two, and the two turns into three, and then oh, it's Thanksgiving's coming up, so now we have to, you know, take
Wait
some
till
time off.
January now.
Now we're going to start back in January, and it's just this creep of laziness that just spreads like a cancer throughout your lifestyle. So if you just make it, and there are days when I'm just not feeling it, I'll go in there and I'll just walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes. But I get ready at the gym. That's where I go. I wake up and it's just almost automatic. I will be going to the gym to get ready. That's just how it is. And if I'm feeling real good, I'll have a real long workout. If not, and my body's aching and telling me to stop, then I'll keep it light. But it's getting into the routine, and now it's I don't miss because it's such a habit. I've been instilling that habit for years now, and it pays off immensely.
And it's not even like you have to go and crush it every time. Like you said, sometimes you just go and walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes. And some people would say, well, what's the point of that? The point is you checked the box.
Right.
You got in there, you moved a little bit, and you moved on. Your routine remains unbroken, your consistency is there, and you can now focus on the other important things in your life. So
Yeah.
I love fitness as a force multiplier, right? Like how much different would your life be if you never went to the gym? How much less energy would you have for your business, for these ideas, for all the other good things that are in your life?
Yeah, I would be going crazy. I mean, honestly, I have in the past. I mean, I used to be a big drinker, so I was taking out the stresses of life by drinking, you know, and I would go out with friends, and I would just, you know, it was a very unhealthy way for me to kind of find a release. And but it was kind of, like medication for me in a way, right? I was drinking to the point where it would numb me, it would deal with the stresses. Now I just channeled that into going into the gym. Okay, now I can kind of relieve that same stress by, pushing a barbell. It's just a different way for me to deal with some of the things that would otherwise kind of creep up in my mind. It's very meditative, and it elevates me across the board. And I've met a lot of good relationships at the gym. I've got, I met the girl I'm seeing right now. I met her at the gym. It's just been something that has opened doors in a number of different ways. And so it's part of my routine. It's just kind of who I am and what I do. People will give me grief about my biceps. They'll say, "Do you ever do anything else other than curls? Like, is that
Like,
all
why
you
would
do?"
I?
No, I say no. It's every single day, biceps all day, every day, 24/7.
That's
Why? What
right.
what else is there to do? But it's fun. It's something that I wouldn't give up, and I don't ever anticipate myself giving it up.
You said you used to be a big drinker, and you don't drink anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah, no more booze.
Can you
I
tell me a
have
little bit more about like the process of that and kind of where that's taken you?
Yeah, happy to. So I started drinking when I was in fifth grade, when I was 12 years old. I was the oldest. I'm the oldest of three boys, and I was raised by a single mom who was working all the time, the most amazing woman in the entire world. And we were just boys. We were just kids. And I went down to my friend's house when I was in fifth grade, and his older sister was the one who kind of introduced us into drinking. She was in high school and college and partying, and wanted to get her younger brother and his friends drunk. And so that's when I started. And then it just progressed and progressed and progressed. And then, I started, I would say it started to escalate. The way I categorize drinking or using any drugs, which I've never used really any hard drugs, but in terms of alcohol or just substances, it's kind of, you can break it down into four different categories. You've got fun, then you have fun with some problems, then you have mostly problems with some fun, and then you just have problems. And so you kind of escalate through those different phases. And I found myself in the final phase, just the problems phase, in 2016. So as I said, I'm the oldest of three boys. My youngest brother, Eric, he started using drugs. He broke his wrist when he was in middle school, and that required a number of different surgeries. And so what happened with him is he got prescribed hundreds and hundreds of the pain pills, the Oxycontins, from different doctors. Eventually, his pain pill use turned into heroin use. And from about 2014 to 2016, he was in and out of rehab. He was in and out of treatment, in and out of a lot of 12-step programs, and just couldn't really figure it out. And then in early 2016, I got a call from my mom one morning, and I had been out drinking the night before, and I got a call from her, and I pick up the phone early on a Saturday morning, kind of irritated that she was calling me so early, but pick up the phone, and my mom is on the other end, and she's just screaming bloody murder. She's just screaming, screaming, screaming. I can't even make out the words that she's saying until I can finally pick out the words that he's dead. He's dead. And I knew exactly what she meant. So my younger brother had actually hung himself at his apartment in Tempe. So he passed away February 2016. And then that was kind of the beginning of a very significant problem phase for me in my drinking. I then started to, for the next 2 weeks after he passed, I really kept it together for the family. I'm the oldest brother. I needed to hold it together, get through the funeral, and make sure that my mom was okay. My middle brother has Down syndrome, so I'm kind of the only remaining brother who can kind of lead the family through something like this. And so I did, and started to realize that during that time I didn't give myself any of that time. I wasn't working out, I wasn't exercising, I wasn't taking care of myself at all. I wasn't dealing with my grief, I wasn't coping well. And so my drinking just started to continue to progress. And it got to the point where it started to become very, very problematic. I never got in trouble. I never got in any DUIs or anything like that. It just came to the point where I was underperforming what was expected of me. I was really kind of endangering my own health, and I was not dealing with it well. So I had, fortunately, my business partner step in, and my mom, my family step in and just say, "Hey, I think it's time to get some help." And I did. So I went into a treatment facility locally here in Arizona and dealt with it. I found an amazing men's group that I meet with every single Tuesday, ran through all the 12 steps, and then I really haven't had anything to drink since early 2018. So now I just kind of live that alcohol-free lifestyle. I go into other recovery and treatment centers and I do a workshop. I call it the Clean Slate Sobriety Workshop, where I go in there and I help people clear their criminal records. So I kind of found that this weird intersection in my life happened. I'm an alcoholic. I had a brother. I lost a brother to substance abuse and suicide, but then I happen to be a criminal defense lawyer where I deal with people with substance abuse problems very, very regularly. And I've got the skill set that I can help them through it. And now I'm getting familiar with, the 12 steps and all that stuff. So now I can really, really cause impact. I can really help people change their lives. So I go in and I give this workshop, help people clear their criminal records. And that way that when they get out of treatment and they have this new lease on life, they can go apply for jobs, apply for housing without that stuff kind of acting like an anchor on their future. And they can kind of put all that behind them. So it's been very powerful. I'm giving it now at 4 different centers around. I actually have the entire workshop from one of the events that we just did on YouTube. It's about an hour and a half long video if anybody's interested, but it's very powerful. I think there's a lot of good work being done. Those people are all good people. They just suffer from addiction. And if I can help them and be of service to them, I'm happy to do it. So it's been a lot of fun doing that.
That's a really powerful story. I really appreciate you sharing that, because I know that's definitely like a massive impact. So thanks for going into that. And I'll find that on YouTube, and I'll put that in the show notes as well in case anyone's interested. But once again, that was called the Clean Slate Program. Is that right?
Yeah, Clean Slate Sobriety. So it's a
cleanslatesobriety.org.
Yeah, it has all the forms. There's basically all the forms that somebody needs to clear their record. So if any of your listeners have something in Arizona that they want cleared off of their record, we don't have expungements in Arizona. With the closest thing we have is called a motion to set aside a conviction. So anybody with prior felonies who wants to restore their rights or get the right to vote back or set aside their conviction, it's a ton of information is available on that website. I'd be happy to speak with you also.
Cool. And I'll include some resources on that. But again, thanks for being willing to go there. All right, man. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate the value you've been able to add and some of the conversational pieces you brought up. I wanted to just ask you maybe 1 or 2 more questions, wrap it up here.
Sure.
All right. So shifting gears a little bit, what's maybe one thing, I'll put you on the spot just a little bit, Rob, but what's one thing that's a performance enhancer that you've used in your life, your fitness, or your business that's maybe like a little bit not something that people would normally think of as a performance enhancer? What's something that's like gotten you results but been a little bit outside of the box?
Yeah, that's a great question. And there's one phrase that I say to myself kind of regularly. Well, there's a lot of them, but there's one that I say to myself when I don't want to do something. I just say to myself, let's get it over with, is what I say. And I heard somebody say that one time. I was actually at the gym. I was spotting this guy who I said, "Hey man, do you need like some more time to break in between these different sets?" And he said, "Nope, let's just get it over with." And that kind of phrase really stuck with me weirdly. And I don't even know this guy, but it really stuck with me. And then I kind of started seeing it in other places. I read Jocko's book. Jocko
Extreme
wrote,
ownership.
yeah, Extreme Ownership. And then he talks about this concept of discipline equals freedom. And so I just when I heard that phrase, it was this idea that there's going to be a lot of things in life that you just don't want to do, but you just got to get it over with. Just go get it over with. And so even in an early morning when I wake up and I don't want to go do something or go to the gym, or if it's some activity that I don't, if I don't want to go meet with that person or talk to that person, I'll just say to myself, and it's not the most empowering statement, but I'll just say, just get it over with. Let's just go get it over with. Just do it. And what I always find is if I take the first action, the rest of it just goes away. So I'll say that phrase. It will put me in the right frame of mind to take the next action. And then I don't even have to think about it again. It's like a 2-second thought. And once that next action starts, then your body gets back onto kind of automation mode, and you just start processing it like you need to process it. But when you have those kind of fleeting thoughts that come through your mind, maybe I shouldn't do this. When somebody has a meeting and you think, well, maybe I'm sick today, or maybe I've got something, I got a flat tire. How can I get out of this current thing that I do not want to do? Well, rather than letting those thoughts kind of pile up and spiral out of control, I'll just say, just get it over with. Let's just get this over with. And it gives me some good energy to kind of transition into the next set of action.
I like that because it's not like, hey, this is going to be fun, and like kind of like that positive psychology that a lot of people are talking about, where it's like everything has to be fun and happy and stuff like that. It's kind of like it's kind of a grind mentality.
Totally.
Let's just get through it. But I like that because it's like, all right, like everything that you want is going to be uncomfortable. Everything worth having is not going to be like, you're not going to be happy to do it all the time. So having that kind of that mantra, that phrase that puts you into a mindset of just like, let's just plug through it, let's just get it done, is really powerful. And I like that it kind of takes you out of yourself and out of that, like you said, like that spiraling, like negative mental state of like, all right, well, is Tom going to be there? And what are we going to say? It's just like, all
Right.
right, let's just get it over with. Let's just go through it.
Yep.
But that's empowering, man. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest thing. It's not poetic. It's not going to land in a book of quotes somewhere any day. But it works for me. I just say, all right, that's all right. Like, quit your crying about it. Let's just get it over with. Just go get it over with. And it just keeps me going.
When I publish a book of quotes, Rob, I'm gonna put it in there.
I appreciate you. Thank you. I need help from somebody. I appreciate you helping me on that.
Yeah, you bet. All right, man. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day and coming on the podcast with us. I think that you provided a ton of value and just kind of all over, like all across the board in terms of building your business and going through the process that it took you from law school to where you are currently, going through with the marketing piece, your fitness regime, the clean slate sobriety. All that stuff is really awesome. It's been awesome to be able to chat with you about them. So thanks again, man.
It's been absolutely my pleasure. I really appreciated joining you. It's really fun talking to you. Great questions. And I wish you the best. I love following you on social media, so I'll continue to do that, and our paths will continue to cross, I hope.
All right, Rob. Talk to you soon, man.
Thanks, Nate.